I gotta go figure it out. It's all the way live. You're all the way live. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? Happy Thursday. I am so happy to be with you today. Wherever you are, I just want to be sending you positive energy. This is a very interesting time for me. It just seems like, for one, time is just moving so fast. We are already in the second week of August. Like, where did the time go? I'm not sure. But for those of you who have tagged on and you can see me because I see the eyes out there, can you say if you can hear us? I just want to make sure. I always have to do my due diligence in the beginning and make sure that my audience can truly hear us. So, Mike, I'm just going to do a little bit of details. I'm going to introduce this amazing gentleman to you, of whom you definitely want the opportunity to listen to. He is not only amazing in what he does, but I'll be sharing more of that with you in a few minutes. Can you hear me? Just say yes. Type in Cheryl Grant. I can hear you. That's all I want to know right now. Can you hear me? Because it would be a shame for us to go on with this broadcast and you can't hear me. That wouldn't be a good thing. And Mike, we are live. We are officially live. Are we officially live? Let me go back in. One more time. There has to be a better way to check this. I'm going to think, yes, we are. We are absolutely. John Bliss, I see you. How are you, John? I hope all is well with you and the family. Anyway, that's another gentleman. You need to meet Mike Malone. He's amazing, amazing, amazing. So everybody, again, I hope everybody is doing wonderful on this beautiful Thursday. Time is flying. For those of you who continue to support my platform, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And for those of you that are new, I want to say to you that this platform was truly created as a way to inspire women, and particularly, although we have a man, we inspire men too. It was particularly designed for Black women and women of color, and I created the platform because it didn't exist. This is my way of showcasing the talents that exist around the world, to let the world know that we're out there and we're doing great things, and this is just one of the many vehicles in which we get to demonstrate that ability. Today, I'm bringing to you somebody who is amazing. You're going to enjoy him, as I've already stated. My team would just kill me if I don't start by saying, my name is Cheryl Grant, and welcome to Fit Live. We're here to highlight the real journeys and triumphs of individuals, professionals, and entrepreneurs from around the globe. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, guys. Got to make sure we cut our phones down so that they don't come through. So apologize for that. Apologize. We are here to highlight the real journeys and triumphs of individuals, professionals, and entrepreneurs from around the globe. Getting fit is more than just a physical. I can't stop them from calling. I'm sorry. You know, it always happens when I go live. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. People, that's when they want to call me. But anyway, getting fit is more than a physical process. It's a roadmap for getting into mental shape, developing the faith, intuition, and tenacity necessary to propel you towards your own success, not only in business, but in life. So the question that beckons, are you ready to get fit? And you might ask the question, what is fit, Cheryl? What is fit? I'm live, so I can't talk right now, okay? Mike,
they need you. They need you.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but I love her. I love all my family and pets. Fit is truly about faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith is really about your ability to believe in the unseen. Intuition, learning how to trust yourself, and tenacity. And when I say to you, are you ready to get fit? I really want to know, are you ready to get mentally fit? Because when you're mentally fit, you can do anything. And today we are here to help you get mentally fit. What I ask you to do is two simple things. Grab a pencil, a piece of paper, take notes. This is not meant to be a dialogue. This is not meant to be a monologue. It's meant to be a dialogue. I need you to engage, ask questions. And this gentleman right here, you definitely want to dive in. Ask any questions. We're not going to leave anything on the table. Mike, you told me that was okay, right?
That's right. That's it.
Yes. And I want to take the pleasure of introducing to you to Mike. And I'm going to do a little bit of his bio. We're not going to talk about how he cheated me on this, but we're going to do a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of his bio. Mike is currently responsible for growing Natera's women's health business and managing well over 250 million in sales revenue, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
200
Yes, ma'am.
in sales revenue. Experienced sales professional with over 10 years of proven success, proficient in coaching, sales processes, territory routing, data analysis, strategic planning, new account attainment, and key account management. Experienced negotiator, successful closing multi-million dollar contracts with high profile customers. President Club winner over and over again, a recipient of multiple top sales and performer awards. He has been able to demonstrate success in building high performing territories and teams that exceeded both his own individual as well as the company goals. I could go on and on about Mike's sales expertise and what he has done, but Mike Malone is more than just everything that I just said to you. I mean, he is a father. He is committed to creating opportunity and growth for not only all individuals, but also particularly for Black individuals and individuals of color. He has spearheaded an organization within his organization, which is an ERG, primarily focused on helping to do just that. And the name of his organization, I love the name, it's called DIG. And I like it because it's like dig into it, get into it. And DIG stands for Diversity and Inclusion Group. I want to say to you, wherever you are, he's in the biotech industry and he has been, and he is a successful executive VP. And I want to say, welcome, Mike Malone, wherever you are. Please, 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 please welcome Mr. Mike Malone. Welcome,
Thank
Mike.
you. Thank you. Pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. And I have to tell you guys, Mike is visiting us from the beautiful city, the Peach, Georgia, Atlanta. And he's actually, and I hope this is okay that I share with your audience, with my audience, Mike, that you are actually in Napa today, enjoying some of the festivities there with your entire team as you grow and expand within your corporation. So I want to say welcome to our beautiful California. I want to say welcome to you. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Every time I come out here, I always think, why am I living on in the other coast? I should be out here. But then I forget and get reminded how expensive it is to actually have housing. But the weather's beautiful, the food is great, and I definitely do like it out here.
Well,
It's been a great time.
awesome. So, Mike, I want to know, first of all, and I ask everybody this, Mike Malone, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about?
I'm really passionate about, being successful and helping others on my journey. So any way that could possibly help, especially the minorities get, additional opportunities to progress is honestly what I'm really truly passionate about. Obviously, I have my family, I have my own individual goals, but outside of that, I really am passionate about helping others achieve their goals and trying to remove barriers that were set forth before, when I got there.
So, well, Mike, help me understand something. You're in the biotech industry, correct? Can you
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your role and what you do? And who the heck is Natera?
Yeah, very good question. So ultimately, Natera is a genetics laboratory. We have proprietary bioinformatics that helps women have healthy pregnancies. That's initially what we were set for. Women's reproductive health testing is what we did. We've since expanded beyond that to go into organ transplant and also hereditary cancer. And so by doing these various things with our bioinformatics, we've had this vast opportunity to grow and grow very fast. And what I've been able to and wanted to do is try to help others of the minority group to get placed into our organization because we are a continuously growing company. As far as what I actually do, I lead the sales team in the United States right now in the Southeast to help grow and continue to educate our physicians about our product, and of course, bring in more units into the laboratory so that we can continue the research to help women and their pregnancies.
Well, this is a very interesting subject to me. I mean, your primary focus is on women's healthcare. So women are very important to me. My platform is predominantly women. And when I think about healthcare, I would be willing to ask the audience, if you could chime in. How many of you knew about Natera before today's conversation? And I'm going to tell you one of the ways I learned about you, and I don't know if this is the most popular way, but you do the baby reveal, right? That's what a majority of, is that a major? I don't want to say majority. I don't know the percentages, but you do that as one of your offerings, correct?
Yeah, it's the most common reason why a lot of people do offer or I should say that patients ask for our tests. It's not the most common reason that the physicians provide the test, but because we're looking at chromosome aneuploidies for chromosome 21, 18, and 13, we also look at the X and Y chromosomes. So by default, you do get the gender of the baby. And so a lot of people do come in asking for the gender test. And yes, we are the market leader for the test called Panorama. So if you are pregnant, thinking of getting pregnant, or know somebody that is pregnant, by all means, the best test on the market is Panorama.
So, Mike, I don't know if you get this question a lot, but I would like to ask you, when you look at biotech as a whole and you look at it from the perspective of diversity, what lens do you look? Like when you walk through your office, Mike, on your board, is it colorful? On your, whether it be, and when I speak about diversity, Mike, I really don't just speak about Black. I really truly do speak about representation. And I think diversity really needs to be defined in that manner, about representation from various groups, whether lesbian, gay, Black, white, So I'd like to know, when you walk through your offices, does Natera represent those things for you, or the biotech? Let's not put Natera on the fence here. The biotech industry, does it represent that?
Yeah, being with my upbringing, I never really looked at, Black, white, Asian, or anything like that because my dad was in the military, and I just viewed everybody as equal. Whether male, female, gay, it didn't really matter to me. And so initially, to me, I just thought I fit in. I was trying to outperform the next person, but I ended up realizing, that it wasn't as diverse as I was hoping to be, especially living in Atlanta, hearing from my friends the opportunities that weren't presented to them, not necessarily at Natera, but in the biotech industry. And so therefore I came up with the opportunity to establish, DIG, because I wanted to allow the individual already in the organization to have more visibility from a minority standpoint, but also use this as a catalyst to get more visibility amongst the minority communities, to let them know, hey, we have a great opportunity here at Natera. And I think in general, from the biotech industry, we could definitely expand more into the diversity aspect in our community, because there's tremendous minds out there that we could all continue to learn from and grow from.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I really do appreciate that. And Terry OG, hey, OG. Mr. OG, how are you? He said, I've been following Natera on the stock market for 2 years, and it has increased from a 13 stock to over 100 now. Oh my God. Terry, why you didn't call me? More about what it does from the actual source.
Yeah.
Speak to that. I don't know.
Yeah, the interesting thing, obviously, I'm considered an insider, so I can only provide but so much information. But I think one of the biggest things that the investors are really excited about Natera is all the various divisions that we've continued to expand into with our proprietary bioinformatics. Again, we're the leading source for reproductive genetics, hereditary cancer, but I think the investors are really excited about our organ transplant and our recurrence therapy for those that have had previous cancer. And so, which that division is called Signatera. So I think when you couple, Prospera, our organ transplant, and Signatera, and us right now being the infant stages of that particular product, the investors know where we're going to go down in the future. And so I think they're trying to get in early because I do think that Natera is going to change the world.
Oh my God, I believe it too. And if you guys have not looked up Natera, I really want to encourage you to learn more about them and what they do. I was quite impressed by their leadership team and what they're doing. And now that Terry has informed me that it is a great stock in which to invest, thank you, Terry OG. I will be looking at that. I need you to work with me, Terry. Work with me. We got to work together on this. right? We got to work together. So that's really a beautiful thing. Well, one of the things, and just really going back to diversity, as I know it's a very important topic for you, Mike. One of the things I'm a proponent of, let's support. I'm really all about supporting our I'm going to say our people in that, whether they be black or people of color. I really am in support of them. What are some of the challenges though? I mean, we always talk about we want the opportunity, and I'm gung ho. I'm all about fight the power. Let's get it together, people. Let's work together to get the forces together to do the right thing. But I also want to talk about the other side of that, because I don't think we do enough of that as well. And I know you're in a leadership role where you're managing, like you said, you brought over $250 million. You're managing huge teams across the country. What are your challenges when you do bring our beautiful, colorful, or diverse people, and just in generality, I'm not really pointing any single person out, that you find as a challenge, Mike, and what you'd like to see as you move forward?
Yeah, I think we're always set at a different standard, and the expectations, in my opinion, are different from those that are minority than some of our other colleagues, and therefore, I think you do have to step up your game, in my opinion, to showcase your skills. And I do feel like sometimes the opportunities that are afforded to us. We don't fully take advantage of it. And, it's one thing to get the opportunity to interview or even maybe go ahead and take advantage of the actual the employment opportunity. But what are you going to do once you're into the organization? And I think more time than not, at least from my experience, I don't really feel like we step up to the plate and go above and beyond as much as we possibly could to really get ahead, during within our career path.
Right. And I agree with you. You got to step up your game. That's what I took from that. And I think one of the conversations we've been having, and I really want to express to the audience, and I'd love for you to chime in again. This is not meant to be a monologue. This is meant to be a dialogue. You can only do that as if you engage and ask the questions. But I can definitely say from my perspective that there are people, Mike, that are involved in from a corporate perspective, but when they get involved, they feel so disenchanted because the structure is not there. So, Mike, if I'm walking into an all-white environment, I'm black. There's no black leadership in the court. There's none on the board. There's none at the executive level. There's none below. My peers are far and spread wide. How do I prosper in that environment? I mean, even if I am doing my best, if Mike's not seeing me do my best, there's only one Mike in this. I don't know if that's the case with Natera, but I want to say in most companies, especially within the biotech field, we're very limited, not only within biotech, it's truly within high tech in general. How do I thrive as an individual? Because in that scenario, it's just me, Mike. Who do I go to? What recommendations do you make? What coaching do you have for me, Mike?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good question. First and foremost, in my opinion, you gotta love what you're doing, and you really gotta appreciate the organization that you're with, or maybe even start your own organization or company. So that's the first thing I would say is like, hey, if you really appreciate and love what you do, and you're with a company you feel like you could see yourself long term, I think ultimately you want to showcase, your value to the organization and develop relationships with those around you and be vocal about what you want to see happen in the future. I think so many times, we immediately get upset. And then, especially for women, my wife talks about this all the time, that women always seem to see look to have like a chip on their shoulder, like they're always feeling depressed or upset because they haven't been presented this opportunity, or they don't feel like they're going to be given the same opportunity as the next person. And so I would say, for sure, make sure people are very well aware of what you want to do. Continue to develop your relationship, continue to bring value to the organization, and take initiative, and start a group within the organization so that the company can essentially change.
So one of the things you said something, so I got to go back there. Develop your relationships. I'm 100% with you there. One of the things you just said, okay, Queens, where you guys? Where are you? Where are you? Mike just made a really interesting point. And I think especially for Black women, and I'm a Black woman, so I can definitely speak to it for 100%, that we walk around with this chip on our shoulders, or we attitudinally, or we have these attitudes. And I would like to say, I would like to venture to say that I don't think that that's the case. I think that there's a double standard in my perception, and you might have a different one, Mike. And that's why you're here, and that's why we're having this real conversation, this raw conversation, because you truly are at the executive level. You're at the senior executive level leading these teams. And when those of us that speak out, so how do I make my voice heard without you feeling that me speaking out is some way me being in defiance? How do I
Yeah.
speak out in a way that I can still stand my ground and we can be two intelligent people that are just having a conversation about how to get to the end goal together?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And again, I don't want to say that that's definitely the case. It's more of a perception, right? That a lot of times, and it's not necessarily only Black women, but it's just us minorities, because sometimes other people feel threatened, or we feel like, we don't want to, we're like walking on eggshells. We want to do the right thing, and sometimes it makes us unapproachable, right? And so that not being approachable sometimes can be a signal to other people on what they're perceived you as an individual to be. And sometimes, you can't let wear your emotions on your shoulder, as they would say, and really just kind of open up a little bit and be the first one to start being trusting, versus trying to gain others' trust, if that makes sense. Because I do think that a lot of times people do feel threatened, or they just feel like maybe certain individuals are unapproachable. And then when we do speak, coming, in a certain fashion, then some in certain people's minds, it could be perceived, again, they're mad, or they're upset, or whatever the case may be.
So, well, I appreciate that feedback, and I know that often we really do get that we do, as Black women, angry Black women, and the women that I know are not angry, although we do have opinions, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we have opinions, and we're very quick to share our opinions. And I think, especially in a world where we are looking to have diversity, the one thing that and I appreciate you saying that and really clarifying that, it's not all people, it's just us in general. There is this stigma of, being angry or mad. And I just want to say to people out there, we're not mad. We really are not mad. We're not angry. But what we are looking for is equal opportunity. What we are
Right.
looking for is equality. What we are looking for is the opportunity to advance in our careers and be just as successful as our white counterparts, and not have it be judged on our basis of whether I got braids in my hair or the color of my skin is chocolate, but because of the work ethic that I have, because of how I show up and deliver on the commitment that I've made to you when you hired me. And if I'm doing that at the level of an expectancy, then I expect to be heard at the table, or have a seat at the table and have my voice be heard without you feeling threatened, and without
Right.
you feeling as though that I'm coming after you, because truly we are not. And I think we're living in a very interesting time right now. And I think that with the whole George Floyd, and the death of George Floyd, that it really brought a lot of things up that we have been experiencing for a long time. And so what I'd like to do is see us really get to a point, Mike, where we stop talking about the problem and start focusing on the solutions.
Mhm.
And one of the solutions, I think, is very much about how do we get more people of color into Natera? How do we get more people? How do we get more diversity? Let me go back to there, because I really want to make sure audience hear me loud and clear, whether you listen to this now or whether you listen to this later. Diversity is really not about color. Diversity is about providing equal opportunity to others. And so I want to say, how do we do that, Mike? What recommendations would you make to us, so that we can, like, I know that you were on a hiring spree, and I know that you just recently spoke, I think you went on a tour. Was it a
Oh,
tour?
no, I spoke to the historically Black colleges, and they're on their sales platform, or their platform for recruiting individuals, so that the students could be aware of who we are as an organization, let them know that we had some positions, and kind of what the opportunity that we currently had to showcase why they should consider us in the future.
All
So
right.
that was tremendous. But I think, the biggest thing, and I was just presenting to some of the future leaders at our organization earlier today, that one of the best quotes that I've heard in a long time is, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I think that a lot of times people, they work hard to get to a certain point, and then they just expect that momentum to continue. Whereas you have to continuously and consistently, work just as hard to get that interview, just as hard to get that position, because the hardest part of, just started once you started the employment, right? And so I think, from a Natera standpoint, obviously, the more we can get our name out there that we have these openings, and the more candidates that we could get into our organization, I think the more likely we could get more diversity. And that's why that's what I'm trying to do with the partnership with HBCU 20 by 20, and partnering up with some of these other historically Black colleges, is to provide more visibility, that Natera is available for those from the beginning ground level positions all the way up to executive level positions, because we know that there's a lot of talent out there, especially in the minority community, that we want to have here at Natera, so that we can have them help us continue to grow as fast as we have.
Well, Mike, I know that, first of all, I have great admiration and respect for you, and I've watched the work that you have been doing, and it is beyond impressive. It's beyond impressive from the perspective of, to put together an ERG with a vision and a mission, and really get your leadership on board to support that is not an easy task. And now that it's on board, one of the things we know that what makes a great ERG is its people. And so the more the people are involved, the better the ERG. And it can't go hand in hand. It can't be Mike carrying the torch all by himself. There has to be a collective behind you, not only from a leadership perspective within the organization, but also the employees and the management level, that they're equally that all synergies are kind of operating together in order to make it a success. And have you found any challenges with that, Mike? Or, because I think you've done an excellent job. And so I ask this truly, truly as an earnest question.
Yeah, no, I think the challenge is that, we have a lot going on in the organization, including myself. And, I feel like a lot of times I'm doing a lot of the work. We do have a pretty great committee so far, but we would love to have more people involved to handle some of the initiative, take on some of the tasks, and continue to grow our vision, and expand even beyond just our organization, and be visible in various communities throughout the country and even overseas. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that when you're starting from the ground level, initially you want everything to be perfect. And, it's tough not to be involved in all the different projects, which can be taxing, and, a lot of work. And so I would say that's probably one of the biggest challenges, is trying to make sure that we had a great launch, which we have, and then continuously, funneling the pipeline with great individuals, to watch this organization continue to grow.
Well, with that said, I know, Mike, you personally have had a very quick and expansive career. And anybody who is promoted 6 times within a very short period of time, I think deserves a pat on the back. I'd like to know, Mike, just to hear with the audience, and we didn't start off this way, so you guys, I'm gonna just take it back just a little bit, Mike, just a little bit, just a little bit. And here's the thing that I want to know, Mike, who are you? Where did you come from to qualify you to become this VP? Where did this work ethic?
Yeah. Well, I'm reading here. Direction of using CRISPR. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get to some of that here in a little bit.
Okay, fair
As
enough.
far as my background go, what was that? Oh, you said you're gonna get to. Yeah. As far as my background, my dad was in the military. I lived all over the place. I went to school in Ohio. When I got out of college, my wife was actually in pharmaceutical sales, and she said thought I would be a great fit for the sales industry in the sales, I guess sales, but in the biotech industry. And so I was like, hey, what the heck? I'll try it. So I went into various positions to try to get to that point. Finally, got into a pharmaceutical job, and I think ultimately why I'm where I'm at is because of my work ethic. I didn't want anything, and I wouldn't let anyone hold me back from what my personal goals were at that time, and whatever the company's goals were, I was going to make sure that I continue to over exceed that. And so when I took the leap of faith, if you will, to come to Natera, we were in its infant stages of what Natera is now. Um, and at first, I thought I didn't know for sure if I had made the right decision. I was like, oh my goodness, they don't have all these different resources. It's a small company. I was coming from a large Fortune 500 company at that time. And, I just kind of put my head to the ground and just kept, working as hard as I possibly could. And as the volume started coming in, we continued to enhance our revenue, and it was time for us to expand. And people believed in what we were doing. I was able to take advantage of the various, upward um, promotion opportunities, and which led me and leads me to where I am now. So, if there's any one thing that I would say to anybody that has got, that wanted to hear why I got to where I have, honestly, it was the will to be the best, and my work ethic. Like that's something that nobody can hold me back from, because that's something I have control of myself. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, don't let anybody hold you down. Don't let social media or anybody, saying anything negative about you, suppress you from doing what you want to do. Disregard that noise, stay focused, continue to work hard. And as I mentioned, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Oh my God, Mike, I really love that from this perspective. Sometimes it can be disenchanting when you listen to all that's going on in the world. We don't have the opportunities. There's not this, there's lack of that. Everything sounds like deprivation. Like, is there any hope in the future, right?
Yeah.
And everything that you just said is just the opposite of that. Believe in yourself. Know that you have what it takes to do what it is that you desire to do. But you must understand first, what is it that you want? And then make sure that you're focusing and you're going after that with tenacity. When we talk about faith, that is what faith is. It's the ability to believe in something that doesn't exist. Mike, you didn't have this senior executive SVP or role in mind, but you eventually got there because of your work ethic, because of your belief, because of your tenacity, because you didn't allow the world to stop you from where it is that you want to go. And I think we need to continue to feed that spirit into everyone. Yes, we are against some challenging times. No, let's not make any mistake that there are systemic systems out there that are not set up to help you. But we should never allow that to be an excuse for us being our most amazing dynamic self. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Now let's go back to Mr. Thierry OG. He said, Michael, is Natera moving in the direction of using CRISPR technology? I'm sure Berkeley, California is ground zero for this genetic modification.
Yeah, the interesting piece is no, we don't do genetic or gene editing. Our organization is really designed and developed to help therapeutic aspects of identifying mutations or things that are not developing correctly within certain genes or chromosomes. And so, what we do have is SNP technology, or single nucleotide polymorphisms, which are essentially the fingerprint of who you are, that we can identify, essentially build your DNA and then the mom's DNA. So mom and a dad, we can build their both DNA and actually hypothetically build what their baby would look like. And if there's anything wrong in between those two, we can identify that. Now, the beauty of the SNP technology, when you go to organ transplant or you go to cancer, if you've ever had cancer before, because we're designing that fingerprint of what your DNA is, we can monitor if there's any changes occurring in your body. And if there are any changes, essentially it's assuming that that cancer is probably coming back. You're redeveloping or reoccurring, or there's recurrence happening in that particular aspect. And that's also the same thing with transplant or organ rejection, right? So when your body starts to reject a particular organ, it starts to develop what we call cell-free DNA, and more of that transplanted organ DNA starts becoming undiluted in your blood. And so we can say, hey, you might want to double check on this person's transplant or the organ. There might be additional treatment that you're going to need. You might end up having to change the organ, et cetera, et cetera. But that's where we are from a genetic standpoint. We're more in the recurrence monitoring and assessment and mutation evaluation versus gene editing.
That was a deep conversation.
So,
I'm not a doctor, and I nor am I a scientist, but I'm going to tell you something. There were some words being used in there, Mike. I mean, not like this, like, oh my God. So what I take away from that, y'all, I'm going to bring it back down to layman's terms, because what I take from that is you do a lot of preventative work. Your ability is to really help people be more preventive. That is amazing.
ultimately, yes, essentially, and you know, it's important to know that our founder started this company because he was personally impacted by not having enough information. And so the organization Natera essentially started because we wanted women to have as much information about what was going on within their body so that they can make the most informed decision about whatever the process may be. So initially, you know, we had miscarriage testing, we had paternity testing, we had chromosome analysis from you know, the baby, and then embryonic screening if you were trying to conceive but you were having issues. So that's the basis of our company. And then we've expanded beyond that to, you know, the other things that I mentioned. So I think that's why a lot of people love Natera, especially investors, because they know what our basis is to where we're going to go. And we have well over 250 patents that, you know, we haven't even come close to using all of them yet. So it's very exciting about where we're going to go in the future. And this is all public information, so I'm not sharing anything. Yeah, right, right.
No, this is absolutely amazing. And what you're doing, I think, is very important to the work, especially for women's health. I mean, for health in general, but especially for women to make more informed decisions. And that's why it's really important to me, Mike. And I thank you for coming on today. And we still have time, but I just thank you because I think the world needs to know about Natera. I didn't know about Natera before I met you. And I think that the world needs to know about what you're doing and what you're up to in the world because it's impacting us. It's impacting women. We need to know. We need to know what resources are available. We need to know these companies that are out here that are supporting us. We need to support them. We need to be out there helping to promote them too. And I believe that the pendulum definitely swings both ways. So I commend you on the work that you're doing and how you're doing it. So Mike, now that you are in the stage and you have this amazing company that you're working for, I'd love personally to see how I can be a conduit for you and through my platform to get you a pipeline of those individuals that are interested in biotech, to know that I have a connection with this amazing individual here that can put you in a pipeline. So if you have a niece or a nephew or a college student that you know is really interested in this, I think I'm safe to say, Mike, right now that yes, please do. I encourage you to reach out. Mike, if they did reach out, where would they reach out to?
They can easily find me on LinkedIn or send me an email, mmalone, my first initial last name, @natera.com. You know, we don't always post every single opening that we have immediately on our website. So there could be some things that maybe are getting ready to get posted that I might be aware of because we're just continuously growing and growing so fast that sometimes by the time it is even posted, we may have already received a few candidates that were internal referrals or just other recruiters being aware that, hey, you know, we're probably looking to expand. So by all means, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn or by email. Any position that you apply for automatically keeps you in our database for other opportunities that may be a match. So I think that would be tremendous and great. And hey, follow the people that are also linked up to me on LinkedIn because there are a lot of other colleagues that could possibly be somebody that you know that would be helpful in referring you into our organization.
So you guys, that was a pass. And if you didn't tag somebody or call somebody or, you know, I don't know, text somebody at this particular moment right now, I am a firm believer, Mike, that you've heard me say this before, but I believe in the power of the network, and I believe in the C4 matrix is what I came up with when I was in grad school. And C4 matrix is based upon 4 principles. They're very simple, 4 C's. Communication, that's what we're doing right now. That creates connection. Connection creates collaboration, and collaboration creates community. Why do I think that that's important? Because right now we're in a day and age where it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know. And so I think it's very important that we start networking and leveraging our network to get to where we want to be. And if we're not leveraging each other, then we're really missing a great opportunity. Community is everything. Community is everything. I'm going to type that in the chat. Community is everything. And so the mere fact that he was willing to give you his email, Mike, I would have never gave your email, but since you gave it, I put it out there. I probably would have given another email because I know you. And don't take anything personal. If you call Mike, first of all, don't call Mike without going on their website to see what jobs are available. Do your research first. And then secondly, once you've done your research and you see a job that matches what you want to do, then I want to say reach out to Mike and like he said, his other colleagues. But I do believe that teamwork makes the dream work. And my platform is really about that. How do we connect the dots? How do we connect the dots and continue to grow as a community? Not only our footprint within tech space, biotech space, fintech, I don't care, tech in general. How do we grow our footprint? Well, it's going to be word of mouth. It's a sharing and truly promoting from within. So I'm really excited about this. Terry OG says, I'm just happy to see a Black man representing on the front lines. Cheryl Grant, no.
Thank appreciate it.
For what you're doing, Cheryl Grant. Thank you for what you're doing. And thank you, Cheryl, for what you're doing. Terry, thank you. And thank you for being a supporter of me and my community, because I can't do the work without you. I am so blessed to have the opportunity to even interview Mike. Getting access to Mike is like, it's magic, because first of all, Mike travels all over the country. That's number one. Number two, he manages half the, what did you say? The South, what do you manage?
The Southeast now.
Mm-hmm. So he has a huge team in which he's managing. His time is so fragile. He just started their internal ERG program, which he is taking full leadership of, and he has taken it off by leaps and storms. So and then he's a dad, and then he's, a husband, and then he's all the other things in life. So very important, and it's so great for us to have an opportunity to have him here speaking to us about this amazing company that I would imagine most of us had never heard of. And just because this platform and others like it will give us an opportunity to get more exposure to companies like Mike's that is out there doing great things. Did you guys just hear Terry OG say what their stock was doing? He bought it for 13 minutes. I'm mad about that. Already, I'm mad about that. That was a missed opportunity.
And I was going to say it's not too late to get in, because again, we're getting started. We're just getting started. Again, I can only disclose but so much. But as I mentioned, hopefully people caught on a few times that we are in the infant stages in some of our other divisions, and that's why the investors are really excited. So it's definitely not too late. Take advantage of it now and ride it up with us.
And say you got it from Cheryl Grant. You got it from Cheryl Grant. And also, check out their company. They're doing amazing work. So Mike, now I want to go back, Mike, because this thing of diversity is very important to me. It's really important to me for so many different reasons. I was in high tech, as you know, for over 30 years. And Mike, I wasn't an angry woman. I'm not an angry woman now. I'm not angry. I'm just not. 99.99999% of the time when you see me, this is what you get. And my thing and my challenge within the corporate space, especially within technology, is because there wasn't enough of us. And Mike, the problem for me is that there was only one of you. And so as you're working your way up, and that's why I go back and I have this mentorship program where I give back to others, because it's so important that they have the ability to talk to someone that looks like them, that can resonate with what they're going through and how they're going through. And I'm going to tell you, Mike, I had a brick wall. I had a brick wall where I didn't feel that not only was I being heard, and I'm not an angry person, I wasn't being heard, but I wasn't being given the opportunity. And I don't want to say I was making a lot of money, because out of all the places, well, you can always make money when you're in sales. Sales is just one of them organizations. If you're good with people and you're good, you really, number one, if you're good with people, you gotta like people. and you love what you're doing, there's great opportunities to make a lot of money. But at the same time, it wasn't just about the money. For me, it was the ability to grow and expand. And I just hit what most call a glass ceiling. And for me, it wasn't a glass ceiling. For me, it was a brick ceiling. And there was nothing it wasn't penetratable. And so I just want to equip everybody here today so that they can go back and be better. And so Mike, I just want to do a deeper dive on that. Getting it somewhere between $90 and $100. That's the safe zone. Okay, thank you. Don't worry, Terry. I'm gonna call you later. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work. So from that perspective, Mike, I really want to do a deep dive, and I really want to. I guess my questioning is coming now. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask you this question about Natera. And this is a pretty direct question, so I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but I just want to know, is Natera diverse?
Yeah, well, so let me kind of go back just a quick second. I just want to clarify, like, I'm not saying all women are angry Black women. I'm not saying, I was just generalizing that sometimes the approachability is not always there, and sometimes it could come across a certain way. Even if you feel that way, sometimes you have to, especially being in sales and in an organization, like sometimes you have to put on a different type of emotion so that you can get to that next level. And so I think that, like for me, from an experience standpoint, a lot of times when I go to certain events, not necessarily Natera, this is anywhere, I almost feel like certain Black people that I see, I'm like, hey, I want to gravitate towards them. But then sometimes they feel like, hey, they're too good to even associate themselves with me because they want to be held at a different level because they're doing something that somebody else isn't doing or hasn't done, versus saying, hey, you know what, hey, congratulations, you're here too, let's do this together, let's see how many more people we can bring up. So I don't want to hopefully nobody views me as saying, hey, Black women are mad or anything like that. I was just using that as an example, as like ourselves holding ourselves back. But I do want to say that I think from a terrorist standpoint, are we diverse? And we are diverse, but we're diverse in silos. So we're based in San Francisco, San Carlos. And so like when you go to the laboratory, I think you're going to see a lot more the Asian population, maybe Indian, and of course the Caucasian. And then you go to the lab over in Austin, it's probably going to be predominantly, Caucasian. And then there's going to be some minority, some Black individuals there too at both places. But I think the question is, are we diverse in our leadership level and above roles, right? And so when I think about that aspect, executive leadership, or just from a director level and above, we could definitely be a lot more diverse. And diverse doesn't necessarily mean from an ethnic standpoint, but also from a male and female standpoint, gender standpoint. I would love to see more women in these executive type roles, because I do think that diversity is the way that we continue to prosper, continue to grow, because of the different mindsets, and collaboratively, we just get stronger. And so, do I think that we're diverse? Yes, in silos in certain places and types of positions, but at the higher level positions, I would like to see us be even that much more diverse.
Awesome. And thank you for that. And I know under your leadership that you will get there. And I think oftentimes we talk about diversity and the importance of diversity, but I think when we look at it in not diversity for diversity's sake, diversity is really an opportunity to broaden market share. It's an opportunity to truly increase profitability. There is a market out there for Natera. And if you guys are already doing this well, when I get on the bullhorn with you guys and start telling people about Natera, it's going to even begin to blow up more. And it needs to, for all the right reasons. And especially when you start talking about your DNA and genetic testing and how can we improve our bodies, it's unfathomable for me when I think about this pandemic and I think about the impact that it's had on us physically, like from our bodies not being able to breathe air. I mean, the most common thing air. And when I look at us as we've come out or we're going back out into the world and we're operating as though it never existed. And I think when I think about Natera just kind of tying the two together, when I think about my health being fit, being mentally fit, this platform is all about being fit. It's not only mental fitness, which is definitely at the top of the list, but physical fitness. And what is Natera doing? In their genetic testing, they're helping us to make better decisions about ourselves, better decisions about our bodies, better decisions about when we are at that childbearing and we want to have children and we want to make sure that they're healthy and they come out strong, that we have the ability and the tools at our disposal to be able to do that. And I think the world needs to know that. See, I just came up with my own campaign right there, Mike. By myself. I just came up with my own campaign.
It was great.
Yes, because I think we need to do more of that. So, Mike, one of the things I love about what I do is because I get an opportunity to talk to amazing individuals like you all over the country that are doing great work. And I just want to commend you for all the work that you're doing. But one of the things that I don't like, but it is just time. And time is one of those beautiful things. Like we have less than 10 minutes left, and that's okay because that's just the way that it goes. But because I think there's so many more questions to ask, there's so many more things to be said. And again, audience, if you have questions, this man is amazing. If you want to know about genetic testing, he can talk to you in languages I've never heard of before. But I guess which I love. I love. That's that scientific and the medical side of the equation. But yeah, I love it. I love it. You're going to say something, Mike.
Oh no, I was just say thanks for having me, and I think the platform and what you are doing, especially in the Black community amongst women, I think this is an area that women really need to know that they are powerful. I think, like even we're talking about stocks going back and forth. One of the things that I feel is game changing is to see women that are CEOs, because I feel like I'm going out on a limb here, but I feel like a lot of those companies end up making, sounder decisions. And I feel like those companies do very, very well. And so I think ultimately, we need more women, especially Black women, to lead and run these different types of organizations and companies, because they do a very tremendous job doing that. And I think, I would say go back, like the hardest job to even do is raise somebody, especially a kid. And like, I don't think we get enough credit to the Black woman on the tremendous job that they do of raising kids. And that showcases their work ethic and their ability to care and think appropriately, that translates easily into running a business or a company. And so I just want to say to all the women that are out there, thanks for all that you do, because I know a lot of times you probably don't feel like you get all the attention that you deserve. But again, thank you.
Well, Mike, one of the things I'm going to ask you a question, and I ask this of all my guests, and we can make an exception with you, and that is, if you had to give my audience one piece of advice, what would that be? Don't give it right now. Just think about it. So while you're saying that, I want to say to my audience, I want to just do, first of all, I want to thank those of you who truly have been supportive of my platform. You just don't know how much I appreciate you. I thank you for showing up each week. I thank you for the phone calls, the text messages, the emails, the voicemails, of you just truly appreciating the people and quality of people that I'm bringing to you. This platform is here to educate you, empower you, and to inspire you. My goal is to reach over 50 million women. Why do I want to reach 50 million women? I want to reach 50 million women because I believe that I don't want to extend a hand out. We don't need a handout. We're not looking for a handout. What we need to do is extend an arm. And what is an arm, Cheryl? An arm is the means that I'm totally committed to you. An arm stands for access to funding, resources and training, and mentorship. Those are the three critical things that we need, whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you're in corporate America. You need access. It doesn't matter. You need resources and you need mentorship. And that is what this platform does. I have been in business since 2006. I actually jumped off the ledge of corporate America, so to speak, in 2017. It was one of the greatest gifts I could have ever done. And I want to say to you that while I do this from the bottom of my heart and I wouldn't want to do it any other way, I can't do this for free either. And so if you feel compelled to give a donation, you can go to CherylGrant.com. And most of you have my email address, but just in case you don't, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. CherylGrant.com. And please feel free to make a donation. No donation is too big or too small. Secondly, we are about to do some amazing things. We're bringing some amazing products to you because I'm a firm believer that this platform allows us an opportunity to really have a one-on-one dialogue. So when we're here, please show up with your pen, your pencil, ready to go. Ask questions. It's not often that we get these individuals to take time, an hour out of their schedule to come on board to talk to you. And I have them go through this process on the back end where they have to fill out all these documents and pieces of paper so that we can be prepared to give you the best information as possible. So when we get them on board, I need you to engage with them. This individual that we have here has already offered so much worth value to you. Number one, he's given you his email address and said that if you're looking, and you want to join a biotech company, you need to know about Natera. So you have Mike Malone's email. That's his personal email. That's his personal email. And then secondly, learn more about them. The stock is doing really well. You might want to check it out. I'm just saying. Mike. I'm not promoting. I'm not selling. I'm just saying. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not in finance. But Terry OG said get somewhere between 90 and 100. And he started at 13 and they're already over 100. And they got great things coming out. So I want to ask that you support them. I want to let you know we have some great, as I said, this Fit Live, the way that my platform is designed, and I have an amazing team that I'm so proud of, and I can't do this work alone. It does take a team, and we have this as well as experiences, live experiences that we're going to be bringing to you. Please stay tuned for them. You don't want to miss them. We're going to be ending up in some amazing places that I want to take you with me, and we are not just about being local. We're about being global, and you're going to see it continue to expand. So I want to thank you from that perspective. And I want to thank my team. And and sometimes this is the thing, I should write all their names down so that I don't forget. But at the end of the day, sometimes your mind is wandering. But I want to thank Zy Warren. If you are not on my list to get my newsletters, this queen is amazing. And these individuals that work with me also have full-time jobs. And they work at other, in high tech, as a matter of fact. And I also coach them. And it's an amazing partnership that we have. Zy Warren, Jazz Collin. I have Andra Stanley. I have Ebony. I have John Tay. I have Dejan. I have am I missing somebody? Joelle, who I'm so proud of. She just landed an intern job with Steph Curry Studios, and she's doing her thing. But all these women are just powerful. They're amazing, and guys, and they do great work for me, and I could not survive without them. I want to continue to support them, and I want to say thank you to them. So I know that was a lot said. Next Thursday, we'll be coming to you again live, so please do chime in. And with that said, before you answer that question that you've been pondering, Mike, I got to ask this question. Mike Malone, how do we support you?
I think the best way to support us is continue to follow us. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. It'd be great if, you're an investor and, have a piece of the company, buy a share. But I think ultimately, I would love for you to be part of the growth by being, taking advantage of some of the openings that we have. If you are in the Bay Area, in Austin, or maybe in sales in a remote position that we may have posted. So I would love for us to, let this be the starting point, and then, continue to grow together as you see Natera, changing the world.
Absolutely. And Natera is changing the world. Mike Malone, you are changing the world. You are doing great work. And I just want to say it is really, truly an honor to not only know you, but have had the opportunity to work with you. You are amazing. You're a visionary. I can see through your leadership, as well as those others that are at Natera, you going straight up to the right. I mean, I can't see the projections are just going to go through the roof. And I said it here on Cheryl Grant on Fit Live. So what is that one piece of advice, Mike Malone?
Well, I think if there's any one piece of advice, don't let anybody hold you back. Continue to follow your dream. Set your goals that you will achieve, and continue to prosper. and keep God one.
Woo! Oh my God, you just spoke my language. The last one was the best one. Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to say to you, Mike, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. So I know you're going to be here a little while longer, not that much longer, maybe not, maybe actually not that much longer. I think really not that much longer. But Mike, thank you for coming out to California. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know you were in back-to-back meetings, and sometimes it's a little difficult to get out because you are, you know, having to stagnate your day. But thank you for coming to California. Thank you for coming on Fit Live. Thank you for being a leader. Thank you for being a representation of what Black excellence looks like. So thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Bye.